Hey guys, welcome back. And today's video is going to be a good one. So make sure you watch all the way to the end. You're going to really enjoy this. Not only do I have big news, but I'm about to show you something brand new. This is a brand new feature that changes everything. I'm going to show you our Viper strategy builder. You can now create your own custom strategies. You can back test them with real casino spin data and see exactly how they're going to perform against real world conditions. Okay, so with this feature, you could quite literally build any strategy you want. You can do it from scratch. Even if you find one on YouTube that you like, you want to modify it, you want to make it your own, you could get some from books. Wherever you find these strategies, you could create it and customize it yourself with your own custom configurations and your own ideas. For instance, the other day I ran one that was found on Reddit and it actually performed a lot better than I anticipated. So there's a good example right there. Also, you do not need to learn how to code to build your own strategy in the software. It's basically a drag and drop. It's very beginner friendly and it's easy to do. You'll be able to use any data that you personally collected, add it to the software and run it against your numbers. Or if you want, we do have some that we provide. We have tens of thousands of real spin data. Again, this is coming from real casinos with a real table, real dealer. And you already know on this channel, we like to test before we invest, and we like to replicate as best as possible real casino conditions. So obviously when you're using a simulator app, that's just basically random computer generated numbers. So with this, every wheel has a bias. The table itself will have wear patterns. Keep in mind, these are some of the most expensive tables in a casino. They don't just swap them out every month. Also, it's going to allow you to fast test these strategies, get some data and statistics on performance, saving you time. All right, so today I'll build a popular strategy. Many of you guys might already be familiar with it. It's called the Holy Grail, using the strategy builder. In this demo video, I'm just going to stick with the original version, but remember, you can always customize it with different progressions. You could tweak the settings and the configurations. Also, something really cool about this feature is you could create 9 different strategies at once, right? So you could keep a log of 9 strategies in there. And if you don't like one, it's simple. You could just simply delete it. Let's say you went and back tested it, realized it didn't perform well, then you just simply delete it and replace it with a better one. And for the big news, as a thank you and to really show our appreciation of your support of the channel, we wanted to share our best pre-launch offer for the next 30 days. We're not going to do 20% off. We're not even going to do 50% off. We're going to do a massive 77% off. This is lifetime of your subscription. What do you get? You're getting our pro top level elite package. And this is the package that has everything. This has all features included, and you're getting that less than our base plan once we go live. And of course, you are going to be grandfathered into this rate. It is never going to go up. Like I said, that's going to include all current features and tools, but it's also going to be including all future features and tools that we add, which means you're going to get early previews to all the new tools that we implement. You're also getting private community access, and we'll be able to communicate with some of our founding circle members along with the professor and I. You're getting auto bet, something you can use with unlimited casinos and tables. This is fully customizable. We're not putting a limit, right? You can literally add any casino that you play on, because the professor has created a custom tool to allow you to simply add the casino that you want. Of course, you're also getting the strategy builder. Plus, now we can share, we could import, we could export those strategies with the community. That's what's making that community so powerful, because we could share these strategies and then find the best ones to add to our personal toolbox. You get access to all our strategies. That's including the AI strategies. It's also including all the pro level strategies that have the highest performance. We're going to share all of that with you. So if you're interested and you want to find out some more, link is in the description down below for more info. Go ahead and check that out. Plus, we're also going to give you the free video, free PDF guide. It's just a bankroll management, bankroll builder system that the pros use to constantly build their bankroll. So whether you want to do this full time, whether your goals are just to make a side income off of this, that's smart money management that you can take advantage of for free. So if you're serious about winning, the next 30 days is the best time to get in before launch. So now let's just jump into the strategy builder so you can see for yourself how fast, easy it is to create a strategy. And like I always say, guys, here we always test before we invest. So let's just jump right into it, and I'll give you the demo view and how it works. All right, guys, now let's get into the fun part. We're going to create a strategy using this feature. The one I decided to go with today was the Holy Grail, only because a lot of you guys are familiar with that. It's a very simple strategy, but it's a fan favorite. I'm going to be running it on its original version. So let's just get into it right here. Up here, we got configs, straight to the strategy builder. So let's pull that screen up. All right, so right here, let's go ahead and start a new strategy. And let's name this the Holy Grail. And we're going to do original. And down here, you could put a description. So like, let's say you want to do a Holy Grail and then you want to do different variations. You could either mark them 1, 2, 3 to keep track that way, or just as a reminder, you could go ahead and put a small description in here, something along the lines, because this one is a basic strategy. So if you're not familiar, which I chose this one on purpose because most people that are in the roulette YouTube world are familiar with this strategy. How it goes is 1 unit on 2 dozens, up on losses, hold wins until session high. Okay, so we could go ahead and save that. And let's go ahead and pull it up right here so you can see it saved a new one. So Holy Grail, click on that. All right, so to set it up, you have parameters over here. These are your configurations. We have a bunch in here, and these are all customizable. Okay, you're gonna have a base of parameters that you need to set. So let's go ahead and set those up. So rounding unit, we could just keep this at $1. Save. Okay, we got our steps sequence to 1. And what do we need next? Let's go over here to our menu. This is our menu of options. Next, we do want to start, or we want to restart at session high. So right here, we're going to go ahead and just click it once and just add it over here. So this right here is what you're building for your specific strategy. Double click on that, and we want to enable this because we do want to start at we do want to restart at a session high. Save that. Next one, let's go down and find, let's go progression. Yeah, we got to do this one. So go ahead and add this over here. And we're just going to keep it simple because this strategy is simple, right? We're covering 2 dozen bets, 1 unit per bet. Again, on losses, we increase by 1 unit. And then we hold that until we hit a new session high. Then we go back and reset back to our base level bet. I'm going to double click on progression, and we are going to click custom 1. Save that, and you can see right here custom 1 value. I'm going to double click that, and this is just going to follow this exact sequence. And if you want to, you could make this any value you want. You could get crazy. You could start at a $10 bet, drop it to 5, go up to 13, anything that you want to put. All you have to do is just make sure you put a comma in between the numbers. This one right here on the default, it's set up comma space. You don't need that space. It's just easier for viewing. So I'm just going to go up to 30. So 29, 30. So we got 30 levels in this progression. So let's save that. And then next we're going to go to, let's see. Oh, step mode. So let's go ahead and add that over here. All right. So when I double click on this to edit it, I have a few options how I want it to progress. So first option, stay on losses, forward on wins. All that means is you're playing a positive progression. This one is where I want to have it set. We're going to stay on the wins and we're going to go forward on losses. And of course, this one's full throttle. You're going forward on the wins and the losses. So it's going to follow that sequence. So I am going to go the traditional route. Again, I'm making the original version of the Holy Grail. So we're going to stay on wins, forward on losses. Click that, save. And then let's see what else do we need next. Let's go progression mode. Where's that at? Add progression mode. Slide that over. Double click to edit it. Okay, so all this really is, what this means is single means that it's going to group all bets together. All we're doing with this is we're running 2 consecutive bets on 2 dozens. So running them single, all that means is they go up together. If I wanted them separate, let's say I was running 2 dozens and then 1 column, that's when I wanted that column bet to be offset and in a different unit size and a different progression, I would do multiple here. So we're going to keep it simple. So click here, save that. Next thing we want to add is going to be, okay, stay on wins, forward on losses, progression mode single. All right, progression action is what we need next. Okay, right here. So click here. We're going to add it over here. Here's where you can start really shifting around the bets. So people that do like D. Allenbert style play, you could customize that however you want. So let's go ahead and click here. We're going to keep this on negative progression, but you can see you could do positive progression, meaning forward on wins, negative progression, the traditional route of staying on wins, forward on losses. And here's the ladder. So if I clicked on ladder, save that, I could adjust all these to different levels, right? I'm not going to do that because we're not using that progression today. So I'm going to edit this. We are going to keep it at negative progression. I'm going to save and ladder start. So again, so if you want this to start at a certain progression or a certain level, this is where you're going to input that. So we save there. We are running again double dozens. So for the ladder steps up, we're going to keep it at 1. We're only going up 1 on losses. So we're going to save that. And ladder steps down. Again, you could change this to whatever you want. If you want to go up 3, you want to drop back 1 on wins. I mean, you could configure this to any of your personal liking to test around and see which one works the best. Okay, so for ladder steps down, we're not going to go down. We're going to hold that bet until reset at session high. So we're going to save that at 0. And the restart level, of course, once you hit that session high, where do you want to restart? And you can adjust this as well. So maybe you don't want to restart at base level. Maybe you want to restart at level 4 or 5. This is where you would put that in. So we're going to keep it at 1 because we want to reset at base. Save that. Okay, now we're going to scroll down here and you can see we need to add a step. So we're going to click on add a step. Name for the step, very simple, just step 1. You could put names if you want, if you have something complex that you want to build, but we're just going to call it step 1. Okay, save step. All right, so now that we have that saved, we have step 1. We're going to edit the step. Now you can see over here, we are in edit mode. And coming down here, so going over this right here, this layout is the bet visualizer. All that means is it's going to show you where your bet placement is so you can verify if that's exactly what you want. So scrolling down here, this is where you're going to actually punch in your bets. And you can see right here, we got inside numbers. So if you want to play some of the inside numbers, this is where you're going to place your bets. We could play the splits, corners. You could add in your corners here, streets, double streets, columns, and dozens. Of course, that's what we're using. And the original shows first dozen and second dozen are used, and it stays on those 2 the entire duration of the strategy. So again, we're just following the original. This is not about how great or how bad this strategy is. It's simply showing you a demo on how to build these and how easy it is. So I'm just going to simply click here and just look up here for a second. When I click on it, boom. So now we go up to the bet visualizer. And look, we got $1 here. That's our base unit. And again, we could change this later, but we're using dollar as a base unit. And we got first dozen and second dozen. So now I'm going to go ahead and save, but you can also create a multiplier. So I did want to bring this up. So let's say you have something offset, like some of you guys are familiar with the Romanowski. All right. So Romanowski, I believe it's 3 units on 2 of the dozens, right? So it'd be 3 here, 3 here, and then it's 1 unit on 2 corner bets. And that basically creates a payout of 1 unit if you hit. And it's a large cover strategy, right? A lot of you guys are familiar with that. That being said, that's when you would do that multiplier because these are offset, right? And also that single I showed earlier, that's when it would change to multiple. So if you get a loss, these $3 bets, right? The $3 units now go to 6. And then these $1 units that were on the corners, those now go to 2. Okay, so that's all that means. We don't need that today. Again, very easy strategy we're following today. So let's go down here. We are going to save the step first. Yes, we want to save. Okay, and let me just double check, make sure I got everything in there. Okay, and that's it. Oh, here, before we go ahead and save this, here's another thing you can toggle. You could build this. I know some of you guys got the privilege of playing European tables, and I recommend that if that's an option. I know and I understand many of you guys do not have that option. So you can see right here, we do have an option to build for a American double zero wheel as well. So you could toggle that on. See the 2 zeros, and then of course I'm not using that. I'm using Euro wheel, so I'm going to turn that off. And we got our base unit set at $1. And yeah, that's just, I mean, it's just that straightforward. Very easy, very user-friendly to do, very fun. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and save the strategy, and we're going to run some testing on this. Okay, so let's say okay here. After you save that step, then you save the strategy. All you're going to do is go up here and you're going to click activate. All right, now you're going to see I have a couple other ones in here, Randall's you might be familiar with, but we're not testing that today. We are doing the Holy Grail. So let's go ahead and click on that. And you could see we have 9 spots here, 9 spots you could fill. Of course, we're just doing one today. And I'm going to replace this one and we're saving. Okay, and oh, and I do want to highlight this too. So as you create and as you join the inner circle and get on our private community, we could share a lot of these strategies between each other to figure out which ones are the best. We could create some bracket challenges just to make some things exciting and fun, because some of the internet members have came up with some amazing strategies already. So with that being said, we can export, meaning I could share it. We could import a strategy if you find one that you think would run good. So let's go ahead and close that. Since we got that one activated, we're going to close this one out. We are going to test it on some real spin data. But first, I just got to make sure that the configurations are set correctly. So we are going to go down here. So right here is our categories tab. Going down here, all just means all the strategies we have. You can see we got a ton of strategies. And then we have it separated by categories. So we got the corners, the double street bets, streets, however you like. Here at the bottom, this VSB. VSB is simply an acronym for Viper Strategy Builder. So we're going to click on that and you can see the Holy Grails in here. So we are going to enable this. And again, we have our base unit set here at $1. And I am going to pull the bet visualization now that it's activated in the software. It's the same layout, right? So up here, you got the bet visualizer. It's going to show you bet placement. Down here, I'm going to manually test it right now. So I'm going to put in some numbers that are going to miss, okay? So you could see we're starting at $1 on the first dozen, $1 on the second dozen. I'm going to put a miss in there. I'm going to hit a 29 black, and you can see on that miss, it went up like it was designed by 1 unit. I'll put another miss. Now it's going up to 3 each. Okay, so it's following it. Let me do this a couple times. Okay, we're at 6. Okay, let's see what happens when I hit a winning number. So I'm going to hit 20. We're at a $6 bet. Okay, so we got the win. You can see the win up here of $6, and it's holding the bet. It's not going up. It's not going down. Again, this is a negative progression. So let's hit another win. And what I'm going to check now, it's holding that bet. Now let me pepper in a loss. Okay, now it jumped up to 7. Okay, so everything's working so far. That's good. Okay, so what I'm testing next is going to be session high. So right now, of course, we're not in a session high because I've been punching in a bunch of losing numbers just to test configurations to ensure it's designed and doing what I want it to do. So now let's get some winning numbers. All right. So we just hit a session high off that last hit. That was a $7 hit. New session high is a profit of $5. And you could see after that hit, it automatically reset to our base. Well, let's see what happens when we win at base. Okay, it stays there. So everything's looking fine. So with that being said, let's go ahead and run some real spin data against this to see how it performs, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and stop this session. Again, that was just a testing session just to make sure configurations are working. They did work good, and that's really just to ensure that you set it up properly. Okay, so let me reset this. We're gonna clear this out. We're gonna start another session. We have a starting balance of $1,000, and our unit size again is $1. But I'm gonna adjust that unit size. The original version was using $10 units. So let's go ahead and, so let me back out real quick. So right here, you can see, you can override the unit size. You could change this to whatever denomination you want. It's just gotta match your table or what you're playing with, right? You can't use 50 cents if their minimum chip is $1, right? That wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't work. So you just got to match that. So I'm going to just set it at 10. So our base unit's going to be $10 unit sizes. And of course, you can see wins 0, losses 0. We're starting a fresh session. And then let's go ahead and close this out so you guys can see. I'm going to pull up the back test screen. All this does, again, this is something that you can add your own files in. So if you have personally collected some of your local casino spin data, this is what makes this amazing, because you could get the real world results, that real world feeling. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a file. These are all collected from my casino that I prefer to play online. So let's just pick a data set. We're going to open that. And over here, process is going to show us spins. So I'm just going to run 150 spins. It sounds like a lot, but that's another part that's great about this, is we could run through this extremely fast. So let's go ahead and make sure everything's set up. Double check again. Okay, we are activated on that strategy. So we're going to go up here and we got visuals on so you can see the bet layout. So we're going to start. Okay, and I did want to change the unit size just to ensure that it was adjusting that unit size. And of course, we're playing with $10 units and we are starting off super hot. Okay, finally got a loss. And you can see up here, let me slide this out of the way so you can see. Up here, it's tracking your profit. See that? Right here, it's tracking your session high. And this is your current balance. And it tells you win or loss. This is last spin. And right now it's producing this information every second. Just let me show you something real quick. So if I go up here into the back testing screen, click on pause, I could speed this up. So speeding it up just means that if I click visuals off, which means that you won't see the bet adjustments right here, it just helps the software compute quicker without showing and computing all this extra stuff. Now if I unpause, look how quick it goes. Now it's going about every half second. So you could really run through this. So we're at 50 spins and we are currently at $370 in profit. 420 is the high. And I'm going to stop this at 150. So you could see right here in the processing of spins, we're at 74, 75, 76. You can see how quick it's producing. And we went down quite a bit right there. I think our lowest I seen was minus 370. Let's see if it comes back. It did come back. Again, I have personally used this in the past. It's not one of my favorite strategies. It's very basic. But again, like if you're playing live tables, I understand, using a basic strategy. Because some of those outside bet minimums are fairly large. And we created this. Again, this originated as a passion project. We were tired of losing. And at the end of the day, man, we could not find anything out there that we're looking for as far as software tools. So we're going to stop real quick right here. Let's stop right here. Okay, great. So it performed above my expectations. Okay, so we got a total win. Let's see. A total win of 101 wins against 48 losses. Just give me a second. Let me see what percentage that is. Hold on. Pull up the trusty calculator. We're going 48 divided by 101. All right, so we got a win rate of, rounding it up would be 48% win rate. So pretty solid results. Again, we were using $10 units. And you could see. So let's go ahead and stop this. And it's going to show us some more information. I'm going to close this out. we are going to stop. So right here, we have a stop button. We click on that, and now you can see our starting balance. Starting balance is $1,000. Ending balance, we ended at the high. So 1,830 is where we ended. Profit loss was 830. Of course, we ended on a high. So the highest point we hit using the Holy Grail was $830 in profit. Again, this one's one to highlight as well, right? Session low. So we dipped in to our bankroll. We went minus, what is that? $610. So we used $610 of our bankroll to accumulate this much in profit. Okay. And again, this was a total rounds of 150. So I am curious. I'm just going to just do another run because that was a surprising run. I'm going to stop this and I'm going to do a little stress test. I want to see how long until it busts. So let me start another session and we are going to activate that. Let's go ahead and keep it. I know $10, you should probably have $2,000 or $3,000 bankroll just to give it a little bit more leash because you could see we did dip down pretty low. So let's go ahead and just keep it at 10. Let's see where it ends. So we are going to reset this. So I'm going to stop and let's start it again. And I'm going to keep the visuals off so it's going to speed through this a lot quicker. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, we were looking for some software, some tools out there, and we really couldn't find anything. And the professor has almost 40 years of software development, coding experience, and he just took on the task. You know, this is a passion project. We both love the game of roulette, and we just got tired of losing. So we're like, we need to start bending these odds. We need to figure out some solutions. We were all over YouTube going into all these different strategies. And then we only had these little simulator apps to run the strategies as tests, but it was not efficient, not as close to being as efficient as this, but nor did we have the ability to configure these how we wanted. So that's a big plus with this is these configurations because you can set them however you want. So one strategy with all the different combinations of configuration settings, it can play out as a very safe system, a medium, or even a high risk system, depending on how you set it up in the configurations. Okay. But through this process, we did find out some valuable information, and that's what I share for free. In the description down below, I'll have the link, and that's basically going over that bankroll management. The people that do this for a living, it goes in detail and shows you how they do this for a living. It's not a magic strategy. I'm just telling you this right now. We built this software as a tool to help you get there. But the recipe, the secret sauce, the secret recipe is combining all this information, not just leveraging software, not just finding a really good strategy, but it's also learning how that strategy works, where the volatility is, what the nemesis of that strategy is, and where you need to set up your stop loss. And that's important because that rolls over into the bankroll management stuff. So if you are just going out there and shooting for the stars, let's say you're rolling in with $1,000 bankroll and you lose 4 times out of the 5 days you play a week, you're down. So there is a lot of tracking, and it's not very complex, but it does require a little bit of elbow grease to keep track where you're at on your gains as far as building up your bankroll. So all that's for free. I have that in the link down in the description below. Again, if you sign up, you get all that stuff for free. That's all included. Again, you're getting the full suite, everything that we have built, every feature that we have at this point, everything that's been implemented. You got everything. Go ahead and check that out if you're interested. And let's check our stats right now. Looks like we did peak out at a high of $2,760. Again, we're using $10 units. It did well. It made 800, little over $800. It was 830 on that 150 spin test. Now we're just going to stretch it out. I'm not going to let this run forever. It might go for a long time. Again, you have 24 numbers covered, so you should have a higher hit percentage. All right, so we have processed 390 spins at this point. And I think I'm just gonna go ahead and speed up the video a little bit, and I will catch up once this test is all the way through. So I'm not gonna let it run forever. If it hits 1,000 spins, I'm gonna call it a successful strategy against the stress test. So let's just go ahead and I'll speed up the video from here and we'll review at the end. We ended up busting. Okay, so again, we were only using $1,000 bankroll and we're using a fairly high unit for that $1,000 bankroll. Of course, if you're using a bigger unit size, you do need a bigger bankroll. So keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and stop this. That one, I think it was about 460 it went. So it did go quite a bit of spins, right? Nobody's going to really sit down in a casino quite that long. But this, what it's really highlighting is it's going to show you how that one strategy you either built or that you're testing, and it shows you habits. It's going to show you its average habits. Does it have a habit of dipping very low into your bankroll? Or does it have a habit of typically staying in profit and going into your bankroll very little? What that does, and that's the stuff I talk about in the Bankroll Builder, along with the free video guide on how to refactor your bankroll depending on how it tests. Because if, let's say, your average down draw, that just means how low it's going into your bankroll. If the average is right around $300 and you see it get at $300, you could create a stop loss at 350, give you a little bit of extra cushion. Anything past that, that's what I like to call as outliers. Those are unusual patterns. You're just in a bad session. It's best to just punch out, come back another day or another session to try and recoup that money. Okay. So with that being said, let me go ahead and close this and let's stop this session. And you could see starting balance again, just review. We're going to get ready to wrap up this video. $1,000. We ended at 200. It didn't use all money because if it doesn't have enough money to place the bet at a high progression, it's not. So that's why it stopped at 200. Here's one that was surprising though. Again, too low of a starting bankroll for that unit size, but we did peak out at a session high of $3,050. Now it's not all profit, right? We started at $1,000, so it gained a net profit of $2,050. Okay, and we ran, right around 450 spins before it busted. Okay, so just wanted to recap. Wanted to show you that. If you guys like this, let me know in the comments below. If you want to see me run a strategy that you think would run great in this, let me know in the comments. And I also have the email. You could always send me an email at roulette.strategy777@gmail.com. And if you have any questions, please reach out. And of course, until next time, guys, be cool, stay cool, peace.